How do you stay motivated? How do you stay fired up? How do you stay in shape physically and mentally so that you can charge forward and achieve your goals? I'm going to share those tips with you on this episode of the Do This, Sell More show. Hi, my name is Dave Lorenzo. This is the Do This, Sell More show, and we are now on the C-Suite Network. That's right. You can find the video show every day on the C-Suite Network, and you can also tune in to the podcast. We release the podcast in the morning and the videos in the evening. I am thrilled to be with you. Thank you for joining me. The Do This, Sell More show is all about giving you strategy you can use to succeed in sales. If you like what you hear, leave us a comment. Let us know what you like. If you have a question and you want your question answered, leave your question down in the comments. I'll answer it on a future show. Thanks for joining me today. And today we're talking about motivation. One of the things I hear all the time from people who watch the show and from my clients who I coach personally is that they have peaks and valleys in their energy level and their desire to get out and really sell. Sometimes they feel like they're all fired up and they can't wait to hit the streets and sell their product, or if they're an entrepreneur, they can't wait to get out and get going and attract a new client. And then other times they're lacking energy and they feel like it's a struggle just to get out of bed every day. And they want to know how they can make sure they're always on the top of their game. They're always out and fired up to succeed. So I'm going to share with you the 5 ways that I stay motivated. I drive myself to achieve success and take success to the next level. I can only talk about how I motivate myself. The thing about motivation is it's personal. You have to figure out what motivates you. Now, I'm going to share the things that get me all excited and that have helped me grow my business exponentially year after year for the last 30 plus years. You have to decide what's going to motivate you and what fires you up. There are some years where I grow at 5%, and then there are other years where I've doubled the size of my business. And I've learned from being self-aware exactly what motivates me to go out and have those exponential growth years. So tip number 1 from a motivation standpoint is you have to immerse yourself in the world you want to occupy in the future. So what does that mean? What does it mean for me? What it means for me is if I want to buy a bigger house, when I wanted to move into a bigger house, I drove to the neighborhood where I wanted to live 4, 5, 6 days a week. And I hung out there. People thought I was crazy. They thought I was a stalker. One person even called the cops because I was there so much. I looked at the houses. I drove up and down the streets. I went and ate in the restaurants that I was going to eat in the future. I shopped in the supermarket in that neighborhood so that I could familiarize myself with the area. We even moved our kids to the school in that neighborhood because we wanted to immerse ourselves in the area we aspired to live in. I knew exactly the type of house I wanted. I knew exactly where I wanted it to be. And I knew exactly how much money I had to make in order to get that house. What happened to me? I became so familiar with it and so desirous of having that house, living in that neighborhood, being a permanent part of that community. I woke up every morning just chomping at the bit, dying to get going. So if your goal is to move into a bigger house, go to the neighborhood where those houses are and hang out there as much as you can. If you want to buy a boat, go to the boat store, go to the boat dealership and hang out around boats as much as you can. Talk to the salespeople about the boats. Immerse yourself in that world in your free time so that you can't help but focus on that goal the whole time. The other thing that was really helpful for me to catapult me from one level to the next was to do what my mentor Alan Weiss calls treat myself shamelessly well. And this is tip number 2. You are the most important person in your world. Now, I understand that you may be religious and you may have a relationship with God, and you may put that at the forefront of your mind. You may have a family, and your family may be the most important people in the world to you. There may be other things that you're committed to that you think to yourself have to come before you. But in terms of your tools to create more wealth for yourself, or your tools to be a successful entrepreneur, or your tools to be a successful salesperson, it's this and it's this. Your physical body and your mental presence are the tools you have, and they're all the tools you need to be more successful. So in terms of motivation, you need to, again, like I said with the goals, put yourself in the environment where your goals are ever present in your mind. You need to treat yourself shamelessly well, and occasionally play a bigger game so that you can see what life is going to be like. What does this mean? It means when you travel, 1 out of every 5 trips or 1 out of every 10 trips, as frequently as you can afford it, stay in a suite in a hotel instead of a regular room. 1 out of every 10 trips, take a first-class ticket and use a first-class ticket to fly at least one way so that you can treat yourself like you will be treating yourself when you're successful. If you make a bonus that is unexpected, take that money and buy a nicer car so that you're traveling around in a nicer car. Surround yourself with what your future life will be like, at least on occasion. What this does is it reprograms your mind and makes you deserving of those things. Your entire mindset changes. The smallest thing that you can do that can make a big difference is start flying first class. Don't fly coach anymore. Treat yourself to flying first class. If you have to, pay full fare for it and sacrifice on something else. For years, I didn't eat lunch and I flew first class. I took the money I saved from eating lunch every day. I used that to travel better. Why do you do that? You do that so that you convince yourself psychologically that you deserve to be there. And when you convince yourself that you deserve that level of success, the barriers just melt away. We psychologically sabotage ourselves a lot of times from achieving our goals. So when you take a step up in material things, you convince yourself that you deserve those things, and that makes a huge amount of difference. So the first thing you do to keep motivated is immerse yourself in the world of your goals. You want a bigger house? Hang out in that neighborhood. You want to buy a boat? Go to the boat dealer. Hang out at the boat dealer, or go to boat shows. Hang out on boats all the time. The second thing is to treat yourself shamelessly well so that you reset your mind so that you deserve the success you're hoping to achieve. The third thing you need to do is create a success routine. Think about how you attracted your best client. What were the habits that you had leading up to attracting that best client? What was the mental state you were in before you attracted that best client? What were the things you were doing on a regular basis? Write those things down and then do those things at the same time every day. Do those things at the same time every day. For me, my routine is I get up first thing in the morning and I double check and upload my podcast episode. And then I take a run through social media and I interact with people who've written to me on social media. I post a few things on social media, and then I write out the outline of the show that I'm going to do that day for the video show. And then I have all my client calls between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. I have all my client calls. Then after that, I write out my goals for the next day or for any big projects that I'm working on. Then I have family time. And then after my kids go to bed, I go back to work and I work on any projects that I have prepared to do for that week. That's my routine every day. When I'm on the road, I have a different routine that I follow when I'm on the road, but I get the same things done every day. I have project time, I have client time, and I have my show times and then social media. My routine stays the same every day, 7 days a week. Why? Because that's my routine for success. I have programmed myself for success. If I do those things, if I do my marketing at the specific time every day, I know I will attract clients, and I know I will attract my ideal clients. So I keep my routine identical day after day because I know that's how I'm going to be successful. If I'm not motivated, I just stick to the routine, I keep my head down, and I do it. If I am motivated, maybe instead of shooting one video that day, I shoot 3 videos. That's how you can stay consistent in your performance, whether you feel like you're 100% on top of the world or you're struggling. Or the fourth thing I do to stay motivated is I look at my goals for the next 3 years, and I make sure I do something every day to get closer to those goals. Before I finish my workday, I review my goals and I look at what I've done that day. And if I haven't done something to get me closer to each of those goals, at the end of the day, I do something, even if it's a little thing. It could be as simple as sending a handwritten note to someone who may be my ideal client, or making a phone call to someone to try and sell something, or doing some research online, 5 minutes worth of research online. I make sure I get closer to my top 5 main goals for the next 3 years. Every day I do something to get closer to each one of those goals before I finish my day. The fifth thing I do in order to stay motivated is I do one thing every day that makes me uncomfortable. I push the limits of my comfort every day, one thing that makes me uncomfortable. It could be calling a CEO of a big company. That's never comfortable, right? But I do it because I want to be successful. Most often it is sending a video with an email to someone I want to be a client. It's a personalized, custom-made video that I shoot right from my seat in my office, and I put it in an email and I send it out to somebody. Or it could be something as simple as trying to connect 2 people. I do one thing every day that I'm uncomfortable with, and that helps stretch the boundaries of things that I'm comfortable with. 5 years ago, I said to myself, I'm speaking a lot. I was speaking like 70 times a year. I was doing, public speaking, professional speaking over 70 times a year. And I was very comfortable getting on stage, speaking to people. And I said, I got to shake this up a little bit. I'm too comfortable being on stage. So I went and hung out with a bunch of stand-up comics. And for 6 months, I did stand-up comedy just about every night. It was a way to shake things up in my professional speaking routine. You need to do the same things. You need to stretch yourself every day, make yourself a little uncomfortable. That's the fifth thing that will keep you motivated. What can you do today that will make you a little uncomfortable? Maybe it's going up to a stranger and talking to them, reaching out your hand and introducing yourself and saying, I would say, hi, my name is Dave. What's your name? That's just a way for you to get more comfortable introducing yourself to strangers. Do something every day that makes you uncomfortable, and pretty soon you stretch the boundaries of what you're comfortable with, and that's how you break through to the next level. So today on the show, we've shared the 5 ways you can stay motivated. These are the 5 ways that work for me. Here's what I want you to do now. I want you to write to me, Dave Lorenzo, and let me know what the 5 ways you use to make yourself focused and motivated are on a regular basis. You see my email address right down there on the screen. I want you to shoot me an email or leave me some thoughts in the comments about what motivates you, what gets you all fired up, how do you keep focused on your goals and you stay motivated every day. I'm Dave Lorenzo. I hope you stay motivated and you come back here again tomorrow for more great business strategy information, for more great sales strategy, and for more tips that will help you get home on time every night for dinner. This is the Do This, Sell More show on the C-Suite Network. I hope you do this and sell more.